Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So getting right into it, we will be doing some acrylic press-ons, and I do have my nail tip stand already prepped, but I am going ahead and trimming down my nail tips. And I am kind of wanting to keep the length a little bit longer today, so we are going for like a long to extra long length for today's video. So to describe how I love to cut my nail tips down, I like to start off with the pinky. That helps kind of get my length started, and then I put the nail tip that I cut previously underneath the one I am going to cut, if that makes sense. So right there I did clip the middle one down and I put it underneath the index nail, clip the index nail now, and it just helps give me a perfect length across all the nails, well, an equal length across all the nails. And then after that we will get into our next step. So I am wanting to do like the trending icicle, like under the nail icicle look for some of the nails. So here I did go ahead and put my ring nail regularly on the nail tip stand, and then on the pinky nail I am putting it upside down so that way I can work underneath there. And then I was kind of indecisive about the middle nail. I decided just to keep that one normal as well, and then the rest of them will have the icicle kind of texture look underneath, if that makes sense. So like I said, I am applying the nail tips. I do want that effect under. I am doing them on the nail tip stand upside down, and then after that I will get into using this texture gel from BombNailz. It's a really good one, so I highly recommend checking it out. And you will also need some plastic wrap that you can pretty much find in your kitchen or anywhere at a store for a cheap price. And then I will be using this dual-sided brush just because it's easier to work with. So I am just taking a little bit of that texture gel and applying it kind of halfway underneath the nail, so that way it's not covering the full underneath of the nail, if that makes sense. And then after I have all that applied under there, I am just placing the plastic wrap on top and kind of using the dotting tool side of the brush to kind of make that icicle effect. I do check underneath to see if it's how I like it, and once it is good, I do go ahead and put that in the light for 30 seconds. So I will be doing the same technique to the other two nails, which is the index nail and the thumbnail. So I will go ahead and let you guys watch the rest of this play out, and then I will come back in once it's time to kind of reveal how it looks. So now that everything is fully cured, I am just removing that plastic wrap, and if there's any pieces that are hanging off like on the edges or the free edge or anything like that, we can file that later on. And this is what the icicle is looking like, so I do go ahead and just place that onto my nail tip stand and everything like that, and then we will continue on with the rest of the nail set like I normally would. So these are what the nails are looking like so far. So to get into the actual nail set, I am just taking my buffer and buffing off the shine of the nail tips like always. This just gives the acrylic something good to adhere to, so that way it's not risking peeling off or anything later on. I like to think of it as removing the shine from my natural nail before I go ahead and apply some acrylic on top of that. I kind of like think the same way when doing acrylic press-ons, just so that way it gives my customers some really good high quality nails. So for today's acrylic powders, I will be using Soft Ice. This is from our New Necessities collection. It's a very like almost sheer but milky white type of glittery type of acrylic, I guess. It's not really like actual glitter acrylic, but it does have some very nice shimmer to it. Some clear acrylic and some of these iridescent snowflakes that I did get off at Amazon as well. So getting into the nail set, on the middle and the ring nail, I will be doing a full entire cover of this acrylic powder. So like I mentioned, it is almost like a sheer milky white type of cover color. I absolutely love it for like wintry type of nail designs or anything like that. It's just a very nice elegant type of cover acrylic, so I highly recommend checking it out. We are doing some like 12 days of Christmas sales with KAIROSE Nail Supply, so if you do follow us on our Instagram page, you will note that we do have all sorts of sales. Or if you are subscribed to our email list, you do get those emails pretty much every other day, just so that way we can announce our new sale that we are having for that specific day of our 12 days of Christmas sales. So if you do not have Instagram, go ahead and check out our link down below and subscribe to our email list, so that way you can still receive those emails and see the nice discounts we do have. So to get back to the nail set, I am doing the middle nail and the ring nail a full cover of the Soft Ice Cover acrylic powder, and then I am placing some of that iridescent snowflakes on top of that just to give it more of a wintry vibe. And I do like to work with the acrylic powder very quickly, so that way it is nice and still pretty much soft. So that way when I apply the snowflakes onto it, I can kind of press them into the acrylic powder, so that way they are not sticking out so much. They still kind of do on some spots, which you'll see when we get to the filing stage, but it's absolutely okay. I just didn't want to make the nails overly thick, so I tried my hardest to encapsulate as best as I could, but like I said, I didn't want to make the nails too thick, and I just kind of went with how they were. So for the 3 nails that kind of have that icicle effect underneath the nail, I am doing some like ombreing. So I do apply a very thin layer of clear acrylic at the tip, just because I am doing kind of like this color. I am doing this to a clear ombre. So I do want to add a very thin layer of that clear, just that way I kind of don't overdo it, if that makes sense, but it also gives it a little bit of thickness at the free edge as well. Even though we do have to go in and encapsulate later on, I do feel like it's nice to just add that clear layer when doing like a ombre, like a cover to clear ombre, if that makes sense. So I will go ahead and let you guys watch the rest of the acrylic ombre application play out, and I'll come back in just a little bit to talk about the encapsulation. So we will be taking our clear acrylic on KAIROSE nail supply and encapsulating all of the nails. They all need to be encapsulated because we do have that ombre on 3 of them, and then these ones with the snowflakes, you want to make sure to protect those snowflakes. Otherwise, when you go in and file, it will just file all those away. And since we are doing a little bit of encapsulating, I want to make sure to not make the nails too thick, otherwise it will just look unnatural if you were to like give this to a client or wear them yourself. So like I said, try your hardest to not make it super thick, but if you do, it's absolutely okay, because when we get to the filing portion, we can absolutely debulk that a little bit. So like I mentioned as well, you will be able to see a little bit of the snowflakes kind of peeking out through the clear acrylic, and that's because, like I said, I tried my hardest to encapsulate as much as I could without making the nail too thick, so I just left it how it will be. I did end up filing a little bit of those off that were sticking out, which to me it was absolutely okay, because like I said, it's just iridescent snowflakes, so I feel like it kind of tied in more with the wintry vibe, I guess. But if you want to make sure that every single piece of the snowflake is encapsulated, absolutely feel free to kind of make sure to build up the thickness in those areas, so that way it's nicely covered with that clear acrylic. So these are what the nails are looking like once they are completely dried from the acrylic application. So I am getting into the filing using my 100 grit hand file, and I like to start off by shaping the sidewalls to make sure everything is nice and straight. And then I do like to work on the cuticle area before I do the entire surface of the nail, just to make sure that area is nicely thin. And then after that, filing over the entire surface of the nail. This just helps smooth everything out, make sure there's no lumps and bumps. And then I do flip the nail over to file the free edge to make sure that is nice and straight as well. Now typically when I'm doing my filing process, after I'm done using my hand file, I usually go in with a fine 5-in-1 a fine 5-in-1 drill bit to kind of thin up the free edge. But since we have the icicle effect underneath, I didn't know if it was going to mess it up or anything like that, so I did decide to skip that step for today's video. So you will only see me doing the filing with my hand file right here and then get straight into buffing. And like I said, the last step here is just buffing. We are going to be doing a little bit of nail art, so I do want the surface to be smooth just for that. So I am just taking this mini buffer and buffing over the entire surface. And then once I am done with the buffing, I do take a lint-free wipe and some alcohol and wipe away the surface of the nails. Well, wipe away all the dust on the surface of the nail, so that way there's none contaminating the nail art when we do go in with that. So these are what the nails are looking like once they're completely filed and cleaned off. So getting into what we need for the nail set, I will be using this white gel polish from BombNailz. I do have her link down below along with my discount code if you're interested. And I will also be using this texture glitter from our website on KAIROSE Nail Supply. It is very perfect for like these wintry type of sets to give us a nice texture. So since I will pretty much be doing some texturizing on all of the nails except for the two middle ones, I am going ahead and just top coating them. But I do still top coat the middle two, well, the middle nail and the ring nail, just because I didn't realize that I didn't want to texture those as well, if that makes sense. I decided to do a different design on top of those, but I am still top coating them just to be safe. And then once I am done top coating, I do go ahead and put that in the light for a full 60 seconds. So I am taking my 18mm liner brush along with the texture gel and that white gel polish from BombNailz, and I am kind of doing like the icicle drippings coming off the cuticle area. So what I like to do is kind of outline the cuticle area about like as thick as I want the top portion of the icicles to be. And then after I have that nice and perfect, I start doing some like squiggly lines kind of coming down. I don't want them to come down too far, but I do want them to come down long enough, I guess, for you to realize that they are like icicle drippings. I believe that's what you would call this design, but I am just doing that, making sure to do it very thin and wiggly my line to give it that nice type of jagged icicle effect. And then before curing, you want to make sure to obviously make sure the gel polish is not cured at all, and then go ahead and apply that texture gel so that way it has something to adhere to. And then once you have the entire portion of that like icicle look textured or covered with the texture glitter, go ahead and cure that in the light for 30 seconds afterwards. So after 30 seconds, this is what it is looking like. I am just taking this little dust brush to wipe away all the excess, and then I do go in with a stiffer brush to kind of wipe away more. And then this is what it is looking like. So like I said, I will be doing the same exact design across the other two nails with the icicle type of effect underneath the nail. And then on the other two nails, we will get into that in just a little bit. So for the middle nail and the ring nail, I will be doing just a little bit of rhinestones here. So I am just kind of outlining the cuticle area with some of these circular rhinestones that I did get off of Amazon. I don't want the rhinestones to be too big because I don't want it to take away from the design at all. But I did want to give it a little bit of more design on these two nails, so that way it just kind of ties everything together, if that makes sense. So after I am done placing my rhinestones on the cuticle area, I do take my flash cure light to kind of flash cure that in place while I do the same exact thing on the other nail. And then once I am done, I go ahead and put the entire nail set in the light for a full 60 seconds just to make sure all the design and everything is just completely cured. That is pretty much the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!